Warriors. It's been a little bit. Hope all is well with everyone. We on the night walk. Yes, I know I said something about making the videos pretty and getting organized, which we'll get to that. And we got some things that I have had a chance to do, but just talking to spirit, it's like that's not what's important. Don't get caught up in that. Speaking, when I say speak, is more important, which I know, but we get in our head, right? Overthink these things, overprocess it, lean into our own understanding, get distracted, get depleted. So, made a decision just when it's time to speak, to start speaking. And so, I like to talk to you guys on my night walk, because I like to do it in the dark. Something about that. Changes the environment for me. Less external influences, which helps, because I already got quite a bit that I'm processing. So I need more of that space for myself. So we're in July. We talked about this being those emotional waters. Cancer season. This has been a very interesting Cancer season, July, for me, for several different reasons. Some of those I definitely want to share with you guys in regard to navigating these waters or going deep, because it seems as if in this month, prior to last month with the Gemini mental space, it does something where it brings up traumas, or you're dealing with new things, or it's rocking the balance, which requires you to be more grounded. So I wanted to talk about shadow work and strength that comes through pain. Different types of pain. The physical pain, most oftentimes causes some emotional response that we hold on to some degree, even when it makes us stronger. The mental abuse, emotional abuse, it hides itself, where it can become numb and cause you not to be able to identify it, to uproot it, so you can heal that space. The reason why I want to go into this at this moment is because all things correspond to the truth. And this season is most often with crops, you got a lot of your first fruits, for the season. Melons, things like that. And first fruits are super important, especially with what you do with them. Just looking at the truth of first fruits and gratitude, it is where the abundance will come from. Now, it could be a new job. It could be a new mindset. Good health you just came into. New connections, new inspirations. But they're in an infant state, first fruits. That first vibration, that first release of them chemicals. It has to be nurtured. It has to be protected. Okay? But in this season, I'll use myself as an example, and I know I'm not the only one from the conversations that I've had the opportunity to have. I know other people are dealing with similar seasons. Okay, so been having to do shadow work that's triggered certain emotions in this Cancer season as I'm navigating these waters to come into more of myself. Okay. So, for example, say things get hectic, which they do often. It can trigger these thoughts within you that you thought you've moved past, but you have moved past them. And it's very important that you understand that if you've done the work, it's not that you're having to repeat it again, but you have to recognize what's going on right now in this season. Let's go. Trauma has to exit the body, the mind, the same way it entered. Same way it came through them gates. So you can feel like something's repeating itself. Maybe it's not the same exact thing, but all of the elements are there. The way you feel, the way you think, your resources, your circumstances, whatever the case may be. Now what you do is even more important, because you've already come into the space of understanding this newness, those first fruits. Now it's getting attacked. Or more or less you just understanding that what we call an attack, the uncomfortableness of it, the pain of it, is just activation. And perspective is so important here. Now, I know there are other things that come against this. Trust me, believe me, I know. People do a lot of stuff behind closed doors. You'll be surprised. Or when they don't think that others know what their intentions are. So, not to get too distracted into all of that, because we stand on what needs to happen. Boom. So the newness comes in, feeling good about it. Bop, bop, bop. Came into Cancer season. Halfway through it, emotions are triggered through certain things. Man, and I'm telling you, like I said, I know I'm not the only one going through it. I've watched people go through things in the last 6 to 8 weeks and watch them work that thing out. As have I, as have you. Even if nobody's told you, I see you. I feel that energy. It's what we are. Let's go, warriors. So then you have these things that come against it. That newness, right? And it feels like it's repeating. It's not a repeat. It's the way it has to exit. It has to come back through the same gates. But your awareness is more important. To be able to bear your own cross, to see the truth of it, with no judgment on yourself, full accountability, shadow work. There's different levels to shadow work, but this is a level of it too. We don't try to get rid of our shadow. We come into an understanding about where the proper balance is about that, because all of the shadow is trying to do is protect the inner child. So it can make you overly defensive and have you operating out of emotions that cause blockages and stops the flow of the newness if you're not aware of what season you're in at that moment and why you're feeling that way. This is the explanation. This is where the strength comes in. This is where you rely on those repeated habitual habits that you created for yourself out of self-care, because they're needed at this point in time. And if you don't have them, this is the perfect time to develop them, because we're going to continue to go through seasons. And you want this to be in place right now, or as much as possible, to do the work now in this season, looking at those things that have stopped you so that you can alchemize that energy with truth to be able to add it to the newness in what you begin to flow into. Business, investments, relationships, truths about yourself, about what you're doing, about what's your purpose, your legacy. And outside of those thoughts that are not healthy for you, we get the other side of it, the imbalance, inverted side, depression, anxiety, confusion, frustration. These fruits work against the spirit. Love, sacrifice, long suffering, gratitude. Those chemicals, emotions, energy and motion increase the fruits. So this is how you take care of your first fruits. Love of yourself. Willing to make the sacrifices that are needed. Now, are you going to be perfect at it? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes, no. Often it's a mix between the two. According to the capacity for charge that you're able to occupy at that given time, understanding what's going on with you, your mind, your body, chemicals within your body, the biochemistry of you, your aura, your energy, your vibe. This is how expansion happens. So, sometimes when you've been a warrior for a long time, and you've been going through many different battles, I get it. There's a certain amount of conditioning that happens. It's not just you, not doing things that you would like to have in your life. So, explanation. You might be depleted for several different reasons. Okay? Maybe your sleep is off, the food you eat, the people you gotta be around, the environments, or maybe you have to do certain things to keep the balance because it's not really for you, but for someone you feel responsible for. I'm not talking about friends, anything like that. Like, you really feel responsible for what happens in that situation. But that situation is depleting you. And you don't have the time to put as much self-care as you actually would like to, but you're doing what you can. Okay, we're going to alchemize. Get that energy back. So we talk about chemicals a lot. So I've been doing some reading, and I got some things that I want to share with you guys, but I don't want to share the book because I'm not really advocating for the book after some other things that I've been reading. Just on natural remedies to help replenish certain minerals and chemicals within the body. And I actually will share the book, a few of the books that I've been using, but the problem that I'm having is the information in the books is very helpful when it comes to etymology, when it comes to accuracy in the research of the history, and the effects that it can have from a scientific standpoint that helps with all other aspects, including spiritual and physical. These chemicals, the way we use them. The problem that I'm having with the books is just so heavy in dogma. And anyone who's not versed in a certain level of research to dodge the hijack, I feel it would be more of a detriment to share these books than to offer them as, resources. But of course, this is self-study, so I'll give you enough so you can do what you need to do on your own. So, talking about chemicals, these books, what I was looking for in these books was deeper explanations of the effects of chemicals in the body, because I know we can create chemicals with our thoughts, but what if our environment is influencing our thoughts? What if we already depleted? What if we're dealing with heavy traumas? And sometimes when that happens, individuals do better when they have certain remedies. Or we can say medicines. It don't always have to be a physical pill, but that helps too. I've seen it when it's done correctly. And when it's not done correctly, we know the opposite effects. But I wanted to get to the nano of this whole thing. So there's something called cell salts. There are 12 of them. 12 cell salts within each cell to help the body create a certain type of organ or vessels or electricity or magnetism or whatever the case may be. Very in-depth, deep study when we're talking about cell salts. But in this season here in Cancer, I wanted to be able to look at the connection between astrological alignments and our physical well-being. For those that don't know, for each zodiac, there is a space within the body that it helps govern. I have some information on that for you. For those of you still struggling with the zodiac that come from a religious space, because I know that was important to be able to also be able to show truth in all things. So Job 38 talks about the Mazzaroth. Mazzaroth is the zodiac. This is where we're making reference to signs and wonders, So just one of those things. There's several others, but just wanted to point that out. So anyway, there's a certain zodiac that's associated with a certain part of the body. And if you are dealing with traumas or blockages, there can be a depletion of these chemicals. One of these 12 chemicals, or several of these salts within the body, that will have you operating out of balance and making it more difficult for you to have the clarity needed to be able to execute. So, chemicals, minerals, supplements, stuff like that. There is actually a cell, you can get all 12 cell salts in a product called Bioplasma. You used to be able to get a vitamin shot, but they're making it hard to get. But it's very simple and very effective as far as the... After a day or two, you'll feel the clarity. You'll feel the extra push through. Okay, so having the right supplements, if other things are not in place, helps continue to give you the clarity to create the chemicals that are needed so you can have a capacity for charge while you're navigating these emotional waters in Cancer. Now, when you get the extra energy, don't allow yourself to be distracted by the same crap that's trying to distract you now. You need to give to the fruits, because there's going to be an abundance of this harvest in the next few seasons. The next season is Leo. So we did the head, and now we're taking care of the subconscious mind, the emotions, navigating those dark waters. Then we come into the heart space, and you need the heart space for co-creation. But if you've allowed yourself to get completely distracted and dismantled within your emotions, where you can't be present as much as possible in your body and stuck in your headspace, haven't done enough work or clearing to be able to take advantage of the next season coming. So you squandered those first fruits. Says a lot about that too. We've all done it. It happens. And there's levels to this thing. We grow into it. Workout. For the fellas. I mean, for the queens too, but yo, look, you gotta be on your something, bro. You have to. It's the way for you to get out of your head. Push-ups, sit-ups, jogging, walking, riding the bike, whatever, if you don't have a gym membership. But you need it, bro. I know for a fact. You have got to be active. You have got to sweat. It's very important. It is so important. You know, if not that, the yoga. Yoga is an incredible tool, but you got to do it. You can't allow yourself to get distracted. You can't allow yourself to allow those first fruits of that good, positive, empowering energy that came from within you, that seed and that you nurtured, that produced that first fruit. To be stolen from you. Bang. So, for those of you who have busy schedules, I get it. When am I going to work out? Maybe you don't have time to do it every day. I get it. But if you can, try to sweat every day. If you can, especially if you're dealing with a lot, just take a walk. Just go. Even if you say you're going to go and then you only do this start, you'll pick it up. Okay. Now for the vets. I get it. You know what you're supposed to be doing. You know how to get it in. But man, this is stuff coming at you. You can't really, no complaints. You're handling it. Put you on to something. Especially for the brothers that are over 30, especially if you're over 35, and absolutely if you're over 40. You have got to do strength training. No question about it. Zero ambiguities. You have to do strength training. It's necessary for you to be able to create testosterone, and you don't function well without it. Period. Talking chemical still, but it's just practical. Now we can get into a whole lot of other things that can help support and aid in producing more testosterone. But right now, the bottom line is you need to start thinking about some type of strength training that you're going to start doing once a week. And you might not think that that's effective. Not true. There's a guy by the name of Mike Mentzer. Took the bodybuilding world by storm because of his understanding of kinesiology, physiology, and philosophy. Unfortunately, he ended up, they say he took his own life, but he figured out one of the best ways to get muscle to grow is under high intensity. 1 set. That's it. Then you don't work out for another 3-4 days, sometimes 7 days, giving the body the proper amount of time to recover and rest. Now, what you do outside of that, you're gonna have to watch the way you eat. You do eat, but you gotta watch how you eat and your sleep. I know sleep is hard. Glutamine, like an hour before you go to bed. Vitamin D, whenever you can get it. I know that stuff is costly, but you just start to put things together piece by piece. Vitamin D doesn't cost that much. Glutamine doesn't cost that much. I think it's like $20. Okay. One set. Max 12 reps. If you're doing 12, you're doing too many. But when you do it, you find the right weight where you can get at least 10 to 8 reps. Slow in, slow out. Slow in, slow out until the failure. You go to failure. All he was using was lat pull downs, back and buys, leg extension, leg press, leg curl for the leg day, shoulders and chest, incline press, and flies. But like I said, 1 set, you warm up a couple sets, use a couple sets to warm up. But then, after you warm up, 1 set, put that weight on there, control it, in and out, 10 reps. Guarantee you start to see size. So now you're gonna maintain that very critical part of your self-care. That's for the fellas. Hit me. I'll send you a program. I do this in my sleep. Trust me, I was a trainer for a long time. All right. Navigating these waters. Remember, trauma exit the body, the mind, the same way it came in. When you get caught in these emotions, or these crazy thoughts, or these waves of just dealing with things throughout the day or a week, or whatever, don't allow it to rob you of your fruit. Understand that you may have to use your shadow side out of love for protection of yourself. Not in malice. Not in malice. I understand it's going to take some time for you to understand how to use that, but it's just a lesson. You'll figure it out. The shadow self is very important. It's a defense mechanism to protect yourself. And it has to be a balance between it and the light. Many of you have big lights. Shadow is even bigger. You gotta understand that. And you gotta be able to control it and utilize it for the benefit of the kingdom. You. Not selfishly just you, but from a loving place. So that you can continue to grow into who you are. Allow those fruits to continue to grow and flourish. Fulfill your purpose in this life. Have faith in the destiny. And know that it was always intended for it to be a legacy. That's why it's so tough. That ain't for everybody. These messages ain't for everybody. We already know all of that. But whatever you was able to take in value, that's why I got on here. All right, y'all be cool. I'm good with y'all in a bit. I'll see y'all soon. I'm having to do my own work. Oh, let me speak on that real quick. So yeah, for those that are dealing with energies that love to come against them, shoot at them, projections and slander and all this negative energy, alchemize it. Alchemize it. I know it makes no sense in how people love to do closet witchcraft or just come against you in a foul way. I know you can feel the energy. I know how it can be, but you're stronger now. You're a vet. What I'm telling you to do is alchemize that energy. What you do is you take that energy. You understand that it's not you who's feeling that way, who is this energy that's coming at you, this doubt, this anxiety, this grief, whatever. You allow the shadow part of yourself to take a look at it in truth. Then you get to the bottom of it and then you heal it. Now you have more capacity, space within yourself to bring in more fruit. And that's what you do with it. And that's how you get at them. They don't get to stop what you're doing. And you don't get to stop what you're doing. So let's go. Love y'all. We'll get with y'all soon. Peace.